Hello, I'm Crafty Patty, and yes, I'm definitely a craftaholic. I've been wanting to buy a Cricut for many years, but I didn't in the beginning because you had to buy all those die-cut cartridges, and I just didn't want all that to deal with. Now with Design Space, you can make so many cool things. I started with making some greeting cards just to kind of get a feel for the Design Space. And now I'm on to making some personalized mugs for my friends. So bear with me. I'm still learning, but we can learn together, and I'll show you how to do this. I did splurge and buy the Cricut Maker so I can work with fabric and wood and vinyl and whatever I choose to. It comes with the fine cutting blade, and that's what we'll be using today to cut the vinyl. And it also comes with the basic Cricut cutting mat. You'll need to get yourself some Cricut tools. A weeding tool is essential. These are some reverse tweezers. The spatula is great for lifting off objects off your mats, and you'll definitely need a scraper. That's to remove any excess bits off your mat, and it's also very good for making sure that your vinyl and your other objects are nicely adhered, and a pair of scissors if wanted. For today's project, I've chosen the color purple because my friends, most of them, that's their favorite color. And because this is going in a mug that will get wet, I chose the outdoor. And this vinyl comes in just single sheets, not in the roll. At least that's what I found at Michael's. And this one is called Oracle 651. And Cricut's been making some really great vinyls. You can also use the permanent premium vinyl to apply decals in your designs to mugs. And there's a bit of a debate on whether to put them in the dishwasher or not. I wouldn't. You know, it's a homemade gift that you want to cherish, so just hand wash it. It's only one mug. And you'll also be wanting some transfer tape. Again, I bought this from Michael's. I wait till they have their sales on. Sometimes their vinyls will go up to 40%, 50% off even. I managed to get these at 25% off. So that's a bit of a saving for you, or you can buy them online, of course, as well. And your mug of choice. I mean, I bought some Mikasa mugs. I wanted them to have a nice mug. I didn't choose to go for the dollar store brand because I wanted to give them something nice. And this one's got a little bit of a rounded edge, but if you can find one with a flatter edge, that's even better when you want to apply your vinyl. And you'll also want some rubbing alcohol to clean up your mug to make sure the vinyl will adhere. So first thing I did was I made sure I washed my mug first. And now let's clean it up with some rubbing alcohol. So in case you don't know this, and I didn't know this, so I looked it up. What side is the correct side to put your design on? Well, apparently if you're left-handed, you want the design to show out, away from you, so it's pointing to everybody else. So I would put it on this side. If I'm right-handed, then my mug is going to show to the back here. So that means I'm going to put it on this side. Well, here we are in Design Space, and as you can see, I've already put in 2 of my designs, and I was able to duplicate this to make more of the same. So what I did, on the far right of the screen, we have an option to duplicate. So I click on that, and now I've made a duplicate of the Gigi Dorothy. So I'm going to grab this top one and drag it off. And let's move it over. Now I don't want 2 with the same name. So I want to change this and turn it into my name. So let's bring up our one design here, and you'll see the left-hand corner, there's a little lock. We want to unlock it, and then we're going to go into our design here and double click, and it brings up our text box. So now I can change it and add another name. So I'll add my name, Patty. So I've made all these designs 2 1/4 wide and 2 1/4 high, and that's a perfect size that will fit on my mug. So if I click on my design, you'll see a little lock button down here. And on this corner, you'll see how you can change your size by moving it up and down. Now this is changing it so you've got exactly the same dimensions in proportion to move for your width and your height. But in this design, I don't want it to do that. So I need to unlock it. And now I want to move this. So I've got 2 1/4 this way. And I also want 2 1/4 this way. Just going to move that down so it makes more sense. And so here's my quarter, there's 1, and I need to move it down just a little bit more. So now I have exactly 2 1/4, the same size as the rest of them. So now I'm going to lock that, and we can move it back into position so it's ready to be cut. So I need to make one more, and I need one more name. So I'm going to go over it like I showed you before. I'm going to duplicate. That pulls up another one right on top. Grab it. Let's move it down here. And again, I will need to change the name. So I'm going to unlock it. I'm going to double click. And now it's brought up my text box up here. I'm going to change the name. And here's my new box. And you can see how this is totally different again because I've only got 3 letters. But again, what I need to do is click on here. It's still in the unlock position. And I'm going to grab it and drag it. So I've got 2 1/2 inches. There's my 1, 2, 3. So I've got 2 1/2 inches this way, but I need 2 1/2 inches this way. So there's my, so I keep saying 2 1/2, I mean 2 1/4. So now I've got, you can count the little squares. There's 4 there, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 square, which is 1/4. And the same with this way, I've got 1, 2, and 1/4. So there we go. Now, the other thing I actually don't like in this one is I don't like the spacing. You see how this has got, it's just jumbled together. So what I'm going to do, I've just moved it up top here so you can see the menu bar up here. And this letter spacing here is going to move your text in your width, and this line spacing is going to move it vertically. So I'm going to hit the top arrow, and you watch right here and see it start to open up. There we go. Now we've got some space in between so we can see what it says. Now this is distorted our 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. So I'll just fix that a little bit. We're back to 2 1/4. So now what I'm going to do is going to make sure I lock that, and it'll stay just like that. So to get your perfect 2 1/4 inches for each one of these, you can see how it will change the size, but then you've got the right size for your mug. If you want to change your font, well, then you're going to go up to your font box. Right now it's showing as Arial, but I want something a little bit more fancier. So I'm going to click the down arrow, and you see you get an option of all what you have on your system for your fonts and what Cricut is supplying for fonts. So I'm going to click on Cricut, and I'm looking for DJ Always. So I'm going to type in DJ Always. And I actually don't have to type in the word always because it's already come up. And there it is there, the first one, DJ Always. So I'm going to click on that. And there we have the DJ Always font, like the other ones I've got. When I'm choosing a font, I make sure that it's on cut. There are different options to draw, score, engrave, deboss, wave, and perf. So make sure it's on cut because we want to cut out this design. So just move them back in position so we've got enough space in between each one so we can cut them out with our vinyl. If this is something you want to save and refer back to, then make sure you go up to the top and click on Save. Now, I've already got this document already saved. If you want to make another document, make it a Save As, and you can call it something else. But I'm just going to save this to save my changes. And now, if you want to make sure that everything is there, you can go to My Projects. And these are all the things I've been having fun with. This is my first document I started. I did a Save As because I wanted to do a few more names because I kind of made a little bit of a mess because I'm learning. So I'm redoing some of these so we can get a really nice print. So I'm going to choose this document that we've just done. Now I'm not sure if I have to do this because I'm still learning, so bear with me, but just in case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose Select All. That's going to bring all of these together. And then on the far right of your screen, you see the word Group. I'm going to click on Group. That has now grouped them all together, so I'm going to make sure that all of those definitely print. Now when I'm happy with all my changes, I'm going to click on the words Make It. And then on the bottom right, I'll click Continue. It's asking me if I've got my Cricut Maker turned on, and I do. Now it's going to ask you what type of material you've got in your Cricut. I have vinyl, so I'm going to click on Vinyl. And it's telling me that I need to load my fine point blade and clamp B, which I've already done. And then next is Load Mat. So we need to get our vinyl ready. So I'm going to take off my protective coating off my regular mat here. I'm going to place my vinyl using my guidelines. And you can use your little tool here to press it down. Make sure it's on there nice and good. You'll place your mat in between your guides. Press the arrow, and in it goes. You want to make sure you leave at least 8 inches in the back here because this mat will shoot out the back side. Okay, it's making sure everything is ready to go. It's saying that we're all set, and then you can press the C, which means we're preparing to go. And it's telling us to unload the mat, so we press this, and the mat comes out. And then on your computer or laptop or iPad, whatever you're using, click the word Finish. And now you need to remove the vinyl from your board. So I just force it to come off like this. Peel the mat back rather than peeling back your paper. And now you have your vinyl off. And then you want a nice bright light so you can see where the cuts are. And then we're going to cut in between each one of these for each of our mugs. So I'll cut those out. So here's our little designs. So we don't need much. I'm just going to cut to here and then to here. Now once you've got your vinyl out, you're going to just slip off that back backing, and I'm going to peel it like so. And I like to go slowly and kind of like pull like just along the same level. Depending on your design, it can be a little bit tricky. There's a little part in the middle of that G that's got to come out. Just go slow. Again, there's another part in the middle of my G. I'm just going to lift that up to get that out. And there we go. We've taken the part off that we don't need. And then the last part you need to do is just come in and take out any parts that are inside the letters here that aren't needed, like the inside of this P. So we'll use our weeding tool to lift that out. And there's the GG padding. And I've purposely let it stick to my board because now I'm going to put on my transfer tape. So the transfer tape is a little bit tricky sometimes. It's just trying to bending the corner and pushing and pulling a little bit just until you can grab the vinyl. And if anybody's got a trick on this, please let us know. But there you go. I've now got my pieces separated. And there's our transfer sheet. I'm going to hold on to this because then we can put our transfer sheet back on here and use this many times. So don't throw that out. So let's come in, and I'm just going to match it up so I've got all of my areas covered, and make sure it's smooth down the middle, and then I push out to the side. I'm going to just use my scraper to make sure that's really nicely adhered. And now we're going to take our transfer tape and we're going to pull it, and those letters will adhere to the transfer tape. So here we go. And there's our letters attaching to the transfer tape. So we can throw out our backing, grab your nice clean mug, and again, now I'm left-handed, so I'm going to put it on this side. So around we go. Just grabbing some wrapping paper here just so my mug stays in place because I'm trying to film and work at the same time. So there we go. That helps me a bit. All right, so we're ready to take our GG patty, and now we can nicely match it up, top and bottom, and that looks about right there. So I'm going to start in the middle, and I want to make sure this middle is put down first, and then I'm going to pull on that corner and make sure my corners come down. And then I'll make sure my G's are down, And then I'm going to pull on this corner and make sure I get a nice pull and making sure that P stays down as well. I'm going to come in with my scraper and I'm going to just come in and scrape over each letter here and make sure it's really adhered nicely onto the mug. Okay, when I'm satisfied that I think that's all on there good and tight, then I'm going to take my transfer paper and I'm going to pull it flat against the mug. So we make sure that the letters are staying behind on the mug and not lifting with the transfer paper. And I can see right here that my T's wanting to come up, so I'm just going to push it down. And I know I've lost the little dot of my I here. So I'm going to go back in and burnish this a bit more and make sure that that little dot is staying. And let's try again. We'll pull from this side now. It's being stubborn. Sometimes you might just have to help it along, and sometimes you get just one area that just causes you a little bit, tiny bit more grief. Okay, and on to the last letter. I'm just going to take my transfer tape, put it back on my backing here, and I can use that many more times until it doesn't stick anymore. So now I'm just going to come back into my decal here and just use my scrapers to really make sure that those letters have adhered to the mug. You might have been wondering what the GG stands for. It actually stands for Galician Gals. So it's a group of us that have got together and we formed a lovely friendship, and now I'm sharing my friendship by giving them each a mug. And here's the GG mugs all finished. And I think I need to put something in them, don't you? So keep watching and I'm going to show you how I fill them up with goodies and decorate them. Okay, so I've got a piece of tissue paper, I've got a piece of cello wrap that you use for wrapping up baskets. I've got some fun little crinkled up paper that I found at the dollar store. And I've got about a 2-foot piece of pretty purple ribbon. So I'm going to take my tissue paper, fold it approximately in half, bring our corners up. Don't have to be perfect, just enough to pop it in the mug. Let's grab a mug, let's pop it into the mug, push it down. And now I've got some goodies. I've got some chocolate and some licorice, some hot chocolate mix, and some tea bags. And you can put in whatever your little heart desires. I'm going to put that stuffing in there just to give it a little bit more jazz. Like so. And now we're going to bring up our sides of our cellophane wrap. And what I'll be doing here is just tying, just so it comes over the rim of the mug. So let's put down our ribbon. Then I'll fold the ribbon in half on the bottom here. And then just cut up into the middle. And it just makes a nice little end on your ribbon. We'll do the same for the other side here. Voila! We've got a pretty little parcel all ready to go. Personalized, full of goodies. Well, thanks for watching my very first Cricut tutorial. I got through it. I hope I showed you lots of different ways to create personalized mugs, and feel free to make them into birthdays or Merry Christmas or whatever you want to put on them. So until next time, keep crafting and be a craftaholic just like me. Bye-bye.